Explorer coming to you live via Facebook and YouTube from my backyard in Pierce, South Dakota. Welcome to all my regular explorers. Welcome to those of you who are just scrolling by and this is ending up in your Facebook feed. And welcome to those of you who are reading or watching this later. This is our time every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, to get together and talk about how to be an explorer in your backyard and in your neighborhood. Uh, I am, for those of you who don't know, a legit National Geographic explorer, so I know a few things about being an explorer. I work at the South Dakota Discovery Center in Pierre. So we are just spending a few moments each week exploring nature and the world around us using our best and first tools, our observation skills, our senses, um, including our brains, which is a knowing sense. Those of you who were with me last week will remember we talked about water critters, and I was just looking at my pond, my backyard pond, and the snails seem to be doing very well. Here's another little snail. So I'm going to go put these back so I'm not holding them the whole time. The mourning doves are cooing and kind of fighting a little bit, kind of. They were cooing pretty good a few minutes ago. I'll stop if I hear them again. It's that time in our program when we use our explorer skills. We actually go out and explore the weather. So we do our body thermometer. We look at the sky for clouds, and we look at the branches and the grass for wind. I hear a flicker. We use our ears to look for senses. So go ahead and hop up real quick. Come back and report out what's happening in your space. What is the temperature? Body thermometer. Is it hot, nice, chilly, or iced? Fortunately, it's not ice. We've had icy days. Today is not one of them. That's a good thing for me. Cloud cover here. Let's see if I can do this without. All right. It looks like we have some fish scale clouds up there. So I think those might be altocumulus. They're kind of puffy. Yeah, I'll have to go get my book and check it out, confirm it. If I don't see the clouds every day, I sometimes forget what they're called. But I can remember they look like fish scales. They're kind of puffy, but they're also a thin blanket. So puffy would mean there'd be cumulus in the name. Regarding wind, I'm looking at the vegetation on the trees, and I'm seeing a little bit of movement in the smallest branches. So not super windy. Yesterday was really windy. I took a walk and I saw a bird's nest. And it was probably a bird's nest from last year, so we don't have to worry about a bird losing its nest so far. But yeah, it was that windy. So I will come back because I'm on my outside camera. I can't see what all of you are reporting. So I do go back and I read the chat. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you want to tell me about what's going on in your place, please put it in the comment in the chat sections. Sarah, who is welcoming you and helping you remember to do things and explain things for those of you who are new, she will help you then, and I'll come back later and help you and talk to you as well. I also hear the cardinal, pew, 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 pew. So yeah, lots of bird activity happening today. Allaboutbirds.org is my favorite website for learning about birds. You can hear their sounds. know their habitat. Lots of good information there. Ask your parents before you go to that website. You may or may not know that this is Earth Week. Actually, April's kind of Earth Month. Tomorrow is Earth Day, and we're going to have a special guest, a friend of mine, a teacher from Virginia. She's going to tell us what's happening there in Virginia and show us some cool things that you can do outside. But today, I'm talking about taking care of our wild pollinators. And pollinators are those birds and those insects that help pollinate flowers, that pass pollen from flower to flower, because that is really important for flowers to reproduce, including flowers that are part of our crops that we eat. So we need pollinators for our gardens, we need pollinators for our crops, we need pollinators for our beautiful flowers. But pollinators do more than just be useful for us. They help create the world and make it a more beautiful place. And in our being an explorer, we've talked a lot about being curious and making observations. But part of being an explorer is being responsible for what you are exploring, taking care of it. And with Earth Day, I thought this would be a really good time to talk about how we can help take care of some of our wild pollinators. The monarch butterfly is sort of the rock star pollinator, but there are many, many insects, including flies, things that we think we don't like. They're all pollinators and they're all part of our natural world. The easiest way we can help take care of our wild pollinators is to pick up trash. Well, first of all, it's to not litter. Don't litter. And then the second way is to pick up litter. And I know it's kind of awful that we have to do that, that not everybody is being responsible. Not everybody has the explorer's mindset. But that's just the way it is. Sometimes people don't mean to litter. Sometimes things get blown out of their hands and it gets blown away. And, you know, wind happens. So we all try to take care of each other that way. But other times people just don't think, or else they don't think what they're doing is that bad. But let's see, let's go to the trash can, Sarah. Okay. So I before our time, and I just picked up some trash. And you can see it here. And this was about 5 minutes worth of picking up trash just out in the ditch next to my house. And those of you who've been watching this for a long time know we have a lot of traffic because you hear the trucks and things. So one of the things, though, that's in the ditch is this plant called rabbit brush. And it's not a beautiful plant, but every September, it has flowers on it when a lot of the other flowers are gone. And you will find a lot of butterflies on that plant. So I like to keep the ditch picked up so that the plastics and things aren't breaking down and getting into the soil and being eaten by the little soil critters and affecting the growth of that rabbit brush plant, because I want to help that rabbit brush plant so it can feed the butterflies, which will in turn feed birds and be just part of the cycle of life. I want to keep that clean. I want to point out these right here, and I did wear gloves when I was picking these up. So you can wear work gloves. These are cigarette butts. I'm just going to set my trash split screen now. And some people will think it's not that bad if I put the cigarette butt on the ground because they're made out of paper and tobacco, and those are natural. And while they are made out of paper and tobacco, it's important to remember that they are not entirely natural because they're made by humans. They don't belong there naturally. So you should only put something in nature that actually belongs in that place. You shouldn't put, like if I had like an apple core, I wouldn't throw it into the ditch because there aren't any apple trees growing in the ditch. I might put it in a compost pile, but I'm not just going to throw it in a ditch. When I was when I went to visit family in Thanksgiving, I took a day to be thankful for the food and the water. And I went out and I cleaned up a little area. Now, I went to visit family in New York State. And those of you in fifth grade or going to fifth grade or recently in fifth grade will remember that in New York, the state capital is Albany, just like Pierre is the capital of South Dakota. And it's a big, not a huge city, but it's a nice sized city. So I was staying in a motel, and it was surrounded by parking lot. It didn't have a lot of nature to pick up, but it did have a place between two parking lots where there was a strip growing, and that of grass and trees, and I couldn't tell all what it was because it was November and there weren't any leaves. So there was a lot of plastic and bottles. So I decided I'm going to pick that up. And I picked up a huge garbage bag. And as I was picking up that medium strip, I did find cigarette butts, but I also found a riverbank grape. And that is an important food source for little birds. And the little birds are an important food source for big birds like raptors and hawks. And I did see a hawk fly by my hotel window that morning. So all that to say is that when we take care of even these little places, we're still taking care of pollinators, we're taking care of birds. And when we take care of the world, it takes care of us by giving us clean air and water and healthy soil. Now, I just want to say one thing. Many of you watching this, perhaps most of you are watching this, are not adults. You might be in elementary school, middle school, and it is not your job to make adults behave. That's not your job. Adults are adults and they're going to do what they're going to do. What is your job is to take care of yourself and for you to do the right thing as you can. So I hope you don't smoke, but if you know smokers as you are an adult, please help them understand that throwing your cigarette butt out the window is not a natural thing. Nature won't just take care of it. It's not going to help nature. The paper and the tobacco don't belong there. Sarah's daughter, Roslyn, Sarah was telling me just before we went live, likes to take a plastic bag and just walk the neighborhood occasionally and pick up whatever trash. And if you have permission from your adults, please make time to do that. Maybe that's something you could do as a family during Earth Day. Usually our community in Pierre, we have a big trash pickup. Not this year, but we can still take care of the places we live and the places we enjoy that give so much to us. We can give back to them. If you do go out, you might want to take a picture and share it on social media, tag it, Advocate for Science, to show our appreciation to the people who support the Discovery Center. We're trying to show them the impact that they have through us to you. So this is a way to say thank you to the people who support the Discovery Center. Gratitude, it's a really important attitude to have. So take your pictures. You don't have to be in them, even though we're calling them science selfies. Even though I live stream every day, it is not my favorite thing in the world to be on social media. So you can just take a picture of what you're doing. You don't have to be in the picture. Just take a picture, call it Advocate for Science, and share it out, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we will pass it on to our funders and our donors and the people who make the Discovery Center happen. like the Capital Area United Way. Thank you, Capital Area United Way, for everything you do for us and our entire community. And if you're not from South Dakota or from here, find an organization that helps your community, makes it strong and safe. So with that, I'll see you tomorrow. We normally family citizen science, but we're sort of swapping it around because of Earth Day week. And so we'll have my good friend Jennifer Bergen, a teacher from Arlington, Virginia, joining about some other cool things you can do in the backyard. Stay safe, stay curious, go explore.